Men's Oracle. I have Horus today, and we are cleansing the space, so it might be a little bit loud for a second. Beautiful. Welcome to 13 Men's Oracle. I'm coming on here today with a live set of readings, and we are going to just wait a little bit. My beautiful Black Panther cat Anakai is blessing our reading today, so that might be a sign in and of itself. Cats are a sign of independence, of pure confidence and joy. Mother Mary coming in with 3 cards right off the bat. So, let's see. Our Lady of Truth, Our Lady of Promise, and Our Lady of Quiet Blossoming. So the collective that I'm speaking to today is definitely coming through as coming into the truth of your being, the truth of who you are, the truth of what you have to offer. And also there's just been a collective release from any lies or any kinds of delusion that we were living in that was actually blocking us from our divinity and our soul purpose and our truth right now. And that is coming through the web so strongly. So you might have actually been dealing with subconscious belief patterns and fears, or even old memories just arising that you thought you already dealt with, and you're like, what is happening? And you're also coming into the truth of your being. You're also looking back at the past, or you're having a reflexive process that is typically guided by your soul or angels, but it will come in your thoughts. So it will come through, and it looks like you look back and you're like, oh, I always was so beautiful, but I never believed it. You're having these like epiphany moments where you're like, oh, it was just like my own thinking, my own blocks. I was imprisoning myself. And all of these divine destiny codes and destiny points are coming through with the Lady of Promise, but I can feel your doubt. I can feel your disbelief. I can feel you looking at it and being like, is it coming true? Like the past, like it's been so long. I've wanted these desires. I wanted these things, and they hadn't come. They didn't come. So like, I can sense some of you working through belief systems of like, am I cursed? Am I blocked? Like, why isn't it happening for me? What did I do? How can I fix this? And I can see that rumination, but some of that rumination is actually making you stuck. And what you're invited to do here is invite in more divinity and more expansive connection with Creator. So Mother Mary is a great example right now. As we connect to her energy, she will help you bring in more self-love. She'll help you bring in more surrender, more letting go. There's nothing that you did wrong. There was karmic processes, there was divine timing, there was all kinds of things at play that had you really needing to wait. Say you're trying to manifest money. If you had manifested money in the current state of being, you might have given it all away. You might have overspent it. You might have been manipulated and given it to the wrong people, or spent it in the wrong ways. And so therefore it was for your own divine protection potentially blocked from you. But in this year of the Fire Horse, even though all these readings will be timeless, whenever you find them, these energies, these frequencies, these programs are activating in your field, right? And so right now, a lot of you will be going through this, the ones that were guided here. Spirit will bring the right people here at the right time, always. But if you're guided here, you're going through this right now. You're going through this deep, deep cleansing process. So all the year of the wood snake, we shedded. We kept shedding stuff off, and now this is like the purification of that. It's the fires burning it up, but fires are also for creative energy, and they're also for downloading and reprogramming codes. So you're actually going to also be downloading all of these capacities, these remembrances, and these corrective energies that will actually help you see your divine worth, your divine capacity, and they're going to click you into even more alignment, or into alignment with your divine purpose. And because it's collective reading, take what fits and leave what doesn't, because you are all going to be at varying levels. Now, some of you also, you're blossoming this internal shift and change. Like a lot of you are already in the new timeline. You're already there. You don't feel like you're there because it's such a subtle shift. And spirit is like, think of intuition. Spirit is impactful. It is like, it's an inner knowing that comes upon you really gently and really softly, right? And so when your ego is loud, it is boisterous, it's like showy, it wants to make a show of things, it's very excited. And that comes into play as you bring your ego in service with your spirit and you follow more of your divine path, more meditation, more surrendering up, more stripping away the layers of identity that the overculture has programmed into us. You will have this awakening, but it will be really quiet. It's like, the bamboo that grows underneath the soil and then it's like sprouting up. Like, that's the energy you're in right now, right? And for others of you, you might just be the butterfly who's breaking out of the cocoon, and you might feel really raw and really new and really fresh, and you have these wings now, when before all you could do was crawl or grip to things. Like, you have just this whole new sensory system that is evolving from you, and you need to give yourself time to get used to it, right? And so that's the quiet blossoming too. You're already in it. It's about this realization and this belief system coming through that helps you to solidify and anchor that, and even connects you more to your divine identity. Now, the overculture really wants us to not connect to our spirit, because our spirit has the key and the answer to everything. Like a rose seed knows it's a rose. An oak tree knows, like that seed knows it's a seed. You have that coding within you. And when we're disconnected from spirit, soul, higher divine divinity, whatever you want to call that, whatever you connect to as a divine power, that is love, the pure source energy, love and light that we came from, that will give you more and more of the map of why you're here and what you came to be, what you came to give to this world and give to this life. We're also taught by our overculture to just be in the same box, to do one thing. And many of us, especially if you resonate in divine feminine frequency, we're multi-passionate. We have multiple layers of passion coming through, and we are meant to express those in varying ways, and then they'll also layer up and start to express yourself in such a divine, unique capacity that will be your fingerprint on this earth. And so that's what's being called forth here too, is just creative path forging and making a business, making an offering that layers all the learning, all this teaching, all of the education that you already have, and giving that back out to the world. Something that's going on right now for us as we evolve is, especially women. So if you think of the witch burnings, that's when they took out the womb web and the heart web. That's when they really disconnected feminine sisterhood and feminine energy, because we could literally link through the heart web, through the womb web. Everyone was in a womb, everybody has a heart, and they grow within the womb capacity. Not to depreciate masculine value. They, of course, have the seed. They are the protectors, the containers, the structures within which life is created. They are the physical expression, the body, the actual physical expression of that life coming through. But right now, let's just talk about the feminine. So the feminine, in the witch burnings, they disconnected all of that. Now all of that web is starting to reconnect, but we don't have the proper education and the tools. Majority of collective, the collective that's going to find this, they do have these things, but you are dealing with these things in your outer experience, so it's important to talk about them as well. So majority of people don't have the tools to reconnect to this, so it's going to show up as anxiety, it's going to show up as feeling lost or confused. And the more that you come back to spirit, and the more that you allow a new divine perception to come in through your conscious connection, and your connection to that through your physical way of living, into your physical expression, through prayer on the daily, like praying before you work out, praying before you work, praying before you train, praying before anything, or just connecting to divinity and asking that to guide you before you literally do anything, is going to be so useful and so helpful to your expression, because it's going to start to correct the overculture layers within yourself that are causing the anxiety, that are causing you to not know yourself, that are literal lies that are keeping you stuck in a prison, essentially of our own making, because that's the way the overculture works, is they have to convince us that we are disempowered. They have to convince us to choose a specific path of that disempowerment, or not knowing ourselves, or believing that we don't have enough power, or that we are susceptible to whatever comes in our way, or even what has happened in our family line. And we don't have to choose that. just by bringing in a connection to divinity, by bringing in a connection to your higher self, you can overcome those layers. So anything you're struggling with, say you're having a thought pattern of criticism and you're really hard on yourself, you can literally like catch it right in the moment and say like, soul, I don't want to do this anymore, or creator, whatever you call a higher being. I use angels. Right now, let's use the example of Mother Mary, since she's the one channeling this through me. You can actually ask for that like pattern to be atoned within you. You can ask for that pattern to be corrected within you, and you can work with divinity to actually correct these layers of being, to call back all the fragmented parts of yourself and to come into more wholeness, more presence, more purpose. And this can be applied to anything you're doing in your life, because it will increase and enhance your capacity to serve other people. It will enhance your career. It will enhance your relationships. It will enhance anything that you're doing, right? And so some of you are already in this process. Some of you are at different realization points of this, because it's a collective reading. So some of you will already know this, and I'm just mirroring your intuition. Some of you are in that kind of lost point, confusion, and now this is going to start to click. I'm going to send an energy transmission through these words, through this channeling into you, and it's going to start to click some of these things in place. Your soul made some promises to yourself when you came here, right? Your soul contracts are active right now, and they're just being cleansed and purged of anything the overculture has tried to put in. I call them booby traps, or it has tried to put in to sabotage ourselves. But again, it all starts at the level of self. When they say that we are the co-creators of our reality, we are choosing that. We are choosing to believe in either lies, or we're choosing to believe in our own disempowerment. And just like you would shower every day, you want to do energy exfoliations. Just like you would put on clothes every day, you want to choose your thoughts. You want to choose to like listen throughout the day. How do you talk about yourself in your life? Is it in alignment with what you are creating? Is it in alignment with what you are calling in? Is it in alignment with the divine visions that are coming through you that you're trying to create? But some of you have been holding such a strong vision for so long that this is the 11th hour. This is the part where you're the most tired, and you're the most like, is it really going to happen? Like, I've been waiting decades for some of you. Some of you, I've been waiting years. Like, I've held this vision so strong, and it felt so strong, and it activated me, and it seemed so real. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why can't I see it in the physical? And it is. It's coming into the physical. It is catching up to all of the spiritual visions that you have within yourself. And Mother Mary's helping you with that. So Mother Mary can help you with the surrendering process. She can help you with the process of just letting go of the how, really surrendering into the fact that Creator is your divine provision. Creator is your algorithm. Creator is your marketer. Creator is, or angels are your marketing, and they are your agents. They're going to find you all the clients and some of the resources that you've been calling in and that you need. And so when you surrender that how, Mother Mary can help you, because you want to surrender the how in love. You want to surrender the how in pleasure, in joy. And a massive amount of our collective is addicted to pain and suffering. It just is what it is. So I like to do a lot of theta healing. That's the main capacity of energy work that I do with my clients in private session and on myself, just because it's the most effective. You can actually track belief systems, and if you find the root of one belief system, it'll track 100 above you. So getting through the labyrinth of the mind, it actually becomes faster in healing, right? And faster in capacity. So I like to say, Creator of all that is, it is requested that I know what it feels like to live without addictions to pain. I know what it feels like to live without addictions to pain and suffering. That these programs are gathered up within me, sent to God's light, and they are canceled, clear, completed all layers and levels of DNA, especially historical and genetical. And so if you want to receive that, you can breathe this in. You can watch the replay. I know that I talk very fast, but your soul understands what I'm saying. Your soul is going to be here. Your soul is going to pick this up. Your soul has brought you here because our souls are connecting on the etheric realms and bringing you here. There are a lot of starseeds that came down here and that have lived ancient, exemplary lives, and some of them have been stuck here in karma for years and years. And this is also the ascension evolutionary process, where we are remembering through all the layers of amnesia who we are. We're remembering our past lives. We are connecting to our Keshiks. We are connecting to our gifts and our skills and our attributes that we trained in other lives, even in other star realms before we came here, that we brought those gifts down here to serve the collective more love, more pure, unconditional just frequency, and that in our being and our living of this embodiment, we are actually helping each other grow and heal. And that is being activated now for the collective evolution that's going on. It was stagnant and stuck for many years because the karmic loops and the karmic cycles had their own purpose in teaching you. Those were also part of your soul contracts in learning. But now it's activating all of those from the past lives here on Gaia, and all of those skills and capacities that you brought down from other star realms to help heal the collective. Okay? And now sometimes we doubt that because it's just it's been so, it's just been put into, okay, so the truth is a truth is a truth, and it lives inside ourselves. But the overculture tries to make you think the truth is silly. It tries to make you think that we need to go with all the things that man created so that we can be normal, quote unquote. But what is normal? There are so many different people living in so many different realities right now. The sheer amount of population on this planet right now, the amount of souls that have come down onto this planet shows how the evolution is in a tipping point, and bringing through the skills and the capacities and the rememberings from your Akashic records, from your past lives, you are going to bring in the fullness and the wholeness of yourself, and you really start to be able to see through the BS that's going on all around us. It also helps to heal any trauma. So all of us have gone through different layers of trauma, but we also can have trauma looping from our past lives. You can have cellular trauma looping going on. And when we go through periods of the year, like the year of the wood snake, we are going to actually have a lot of that come to the surface and be brought up to be healed, because you've created enough capacity and safety to be able to bring those things up to heal them. But then we also want to bring divinity in, because divinity is the cellular nucleus that actually will create the change. We are not strong enough by our own. That's why I say we're co-creators of our reality. We are meant to be fragile, vulnerable humans. That's why we're having a human experience, but we're spiritual beings. And we came with spiritual tools and resources, but we need to connect to them through our free will. And so this is what is happening right now. This is the blossoming. This is the reclamation. This is the remembrance of who you are and the capacities. And oftentimes when your clairvoyant capacities and your intuition really start to rise, those of you in the collective that already are living this, you know how messy it's going to be, how it can be just be so chaotic and so confusing. And there'll be things that you're seeing in the etheric realms that don't actually fully match the physical yet, but later on you will realize that, oh, like I listened to my intuition and it literally was exactly right. So the more and more that you do that, the more that you can trust it. If you're just starting your awakening journey, if your intuition is just beginning to wake up, then you want to start to keep a journal. You want to start to keep a journal of what is this is an intuitional impulse I have, and then come back to that journal and be like, that was a yes or that was a no, and start to feel through the different layers of what is my ego and what is my true intuition and what is my divine soul connection. Okay, so let's do Kuan Yin. And I can't remember what an amethyst lute is, so I am gonna read the book for this one. I know that it's kind of like, I feel like it's like an old instrument, stringed instrument, almost like a violin and a guitar in one way. I remember watching a movie called Memoirs of a Geisha when I was younger, and I know it was in there. And it's, I see. So it's the internal frequency. So we have golden light bodies, and your whole frequency is just being reattuned. We have a lot of vibration on the planet, of violence, of disharmony, disruption, and those things are happening on purpose. Like even our whole Gregorian calendar is disharmonizing, because everything in nature follows, on Gaia, follows the calendar of the moon. Okay, and so that's why women have 28-day cycles that actually mimic nature. You have a spring, you have a summer, you have an autumn and a winter, which then corresponds usually with your bleed. But we've forgotten that knowledge, and we try to fit into a box, and we try to ignore the cycles of energy that our body naturally have. And when we push ourselves through, just constantly going at this exact same rate and pace that we would that we think we're going to have all the time, and that's actually not what we're supposed to do. So the amaryllis lute is talking to you through Kuan Yin about really attuning into your frequency, really feeling into your body, like waking up in the morning and being like, what does my soul want me to do today? How much energy do I have? How can I connect more to the inner feeling and inside of me and know what I'm feeling, presence with myself, sit with what I'm feeling, and then what do I need? And I'm not saying let your emotions and your feelings govern your body, but you want to be able to be present with them and feel them so that you actually can own your yeses and your nos more easily. And then also tuning into your heart and speaking to your heart because it listens to you, and actually ask it, what is it that you need right now? And then see if you can give yourself that, right? Presencing with yourselves in this way, especially when we're just taught to turn all of our awareness and our attention out, is actually creating more disharmony and more just distraction within our beings. When you turn in to yourself and you tune into what it is inside of you, when you ask yourself what you're feeling for the day, when you ask yourself what it is that you need, you start to bring your whole body into harmony and awareness and frequency. And you start to give yourself the love that you need, because we are actually the most equipped to love ourselves. So that's what the amaryllis fruit is talking about. But Kuan Yin is also working on your energy field, because divine feminine energy is rising. It is working to reconnect us with our intuition. It is working to reconnect us with our inner knowing. Look at all the AI and the deep fakes and all of the misinformation that's going on. Wouldn't it be nice to have back that inherent knowing where you just know in your bones what is going on? That you just know in your being what is true and what is not true? These are the restoration of the senses that we've lost from relying too much on human interference, relying too much on environmental or human observations and processing, because there is just a lot of misinformation going on in the media. There's just a lot of misinformation going on and being served to us as true and whole. And they've actually taken the truth and hidden it in movies that were for kids, or they made it look like it's woo or magical or silly on purpose, because they want you to be ashamed of seeking out these different aspects of spirit, because it disempowers you, right? Okay, and then the Sisters of the Star Blossom. So this is calling us to really reconnect with nature, to get outside in moonlight, to get outside in starlight. It's really actually talking about how you have just really have this resonating feel sounding through every cell of your being, asking you to raise your vibration. It's asking you to claim your own healing capacities and change your life. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. When you change your vibration, you change your life. A lot of spiritual bypassing is going on right now because people are just entering it through thought. So they're reading a book or they're accessing something through thought, and there's the law of attraction is a very good example. I love the law of attraction, but it's often misused. It's used to create shame or guilt, or it's not. People are trying to manifest really, really hard, and they're not getting there because they're not actually bringing divinity into it. They're not actually bringing in embodied feeling. They're not actually aligning their frequency to the law of attraction to be able to get there. Now, how you bring feeling into it is there needs to foster such a state that you release all resistance, and you go through your limiting beliefs and you name them and you surrender them back out to divinity to purify them and cleanse them, so that you can actually live in that state of feeling as if you already have it right now. And that's also what's happening for the collective right now. The Sisters of the Star Blossoming talks about manifestation. It talks about victory. It talks about really hard work in changing that frequency and being able to align it. But I know some of you are going to find this channel as an awakening catalyst, and you're going to just be starting that journey. So I recommend starting out with some lists. I like to burn the list after, because it's just a way to bring in the element of fire, which brings in the element of divinity, and it helps you connect. But I also pray over my list. So I connect with creator of all that is. I love Kuan Yin, Mother Mary here. I'll connect with divine beings and angelic guides that I know are in my lineage, and I will ask them to create a bubble of space and energetics to help me release what I'm no longer needing, or what's no longer serving me, or what's actually blocking my manifestations. And then I also ask to bring in the new downloads and the new beliefs, and then I'll make lists. What I'm no longer willing to tolerate, or what I'm no longer willing to be available for. And then after that list is done, and sometimes these things work in spirals. Everything is touching, although we've been taught to believe that it's not. Everything is integrated. So sometimes I do these things at the same time, but my second list will be like, this is what I'm now choosing to believe. This is what I now choose to believe about myself, about my life. And then I start to bring in both of those things. And then I also do different theta healing practices too, where the downloads can just come in either through that process of list building. I think that's the easiest way to start, but I do it through theta healing now too, so I don't actually have to do lists either. But that key piece is bringing in divinity, connecting to a higher power, and it doesn't have to be the way that humans have defined it. Ask Creator, ask the love that we came from, pure source love, light, and energy, to come through you and show you that it's real. Ask it to come through and show you that you are connected. Ask to have your own experience with it and your own relationship with it, and that it shows itself to you. That's a really powerful way of doing it, because often religions, which I've studied since I was a young girl, they are created by people's perception and man. I used to say for a long time that my religion is loveism, because love is the most common denominating thread within religions, and it's the most mirrored thing, and there's just so many mirrored histories and stories and lessons and parables within all religions as well, that I truly just believe it was like 18 people watching a car accident in different languages. They have to convert it and they have to explain it, and through their own filters and their own perceptions and their own reality, this is what they made. But I truly do believe that most religions coersect and are the same. It's just that humans have taken them in such a way and argue about the dogma and argue about the definitions of them. So all of this is coming through the reading today. I don't believe in coincidences, but these are things that you're starting to have realizations from. If you found this, you're literally transmuting and alchemizing a whole bunch of your reality right now. You're really going through different things you may have learned as a child about religion. You're really coming back into your pure, authentic, joyous spirit that you had when you were a child. You're coming back to remember things that made you happy when you were a child and lit you up, because that was when we were most connected to that living map. Remember the rose seeds a rose? It knows it's a rose. It has that coding inside of you. Those are called destiny codes. Those are called soul frequencies. And all of that is starting to come through you. The more that you get moonlight and starlight into your skin, we are made of all the same components of the ethers. We are made of all the same components as the elements and anything on earth. So Creator left us medicine within the earth and within herbs for anything you could be going through. It also left us energy frequencies within the findings of our ancestors. We have literally been stripped of divine inheritances from just the knowledge and the wisdom that our ancestors had passed down on how to care for our bodies, how to care for our minds, how to care for our spirits, how to connect, and how to connect with nature. And all of those things are being returned to us at a massive rate, because just evil's been allowed to run amok, and it's just not going to be allowed anymore. Okay, so let's pull some more cards. These cards connect me to Mary Magdalene. Okay, so we have Visa Pisces, and we have the Soul Song, and we have Awakening. And so Vista Pisces is basically a symbol that shows how consciousness splits to know itself and expand life. And this is actually really connected to Mary Magdalene, to Mother Mary. And whenever I'm reading love contracts and love energetics, this is actually the figure 8 that goes through both hearts in both partners when they're divinely connected. And this is the kind of energetics that increase fertility and can create actual life force, for projects, for manifestations in the law of attraction, but also within your body, within your frequency, if you're trying to have a baby. And so this is a really beautiful sacred geometrical piece that you could meditate on if you are trying to get pregnant or trying to manifest your business, life force and womb, creational space energy, or perineum energy in divine masculines. Those are energetics that are creating life force, and you can use them to also just create wealth, to create financial stability, to create health, to create balance, to create longevity. But you also want to be pairing that with actions in the physical, where you are diminishing the amount of chemicals that you're taking into your system, where you're diminishing the amount of chemicals like you're putting on your hair and your cosmetics and your foods. You are diminishing Advil, Tylenol. Take those things right out of your diet, because those hurt your kidney and your liver, and they clog up your lymphatic system. And when those things are clogged, it's harder for spiritual energy to move through you, and it's harder for your body's self-healing capacities to come through. So that's a message for someone in and of itself. So this whole reading, we've been talking about the blossoming. We've been talking about the connection to your true authentic nature. We've been talking about just the aliveness coming through your body and the rebirth that you're going through right now, and that's part of your soul song. And your soul song can show up in many different ways. So it can show up as light language, it can show up as your soul frequencies coming back through, it can show up as Akashic rememberings of that you're actually not from this realm, and you could be connecting to your astro and your star families right now. But it could also just be in you finding your voice. It could also just be in you finding your capacities to speak out your truth and to show up and serve the world what it is that it needs. Your soul song is also shown out in your creativity, but remember, creativity can be shown through how you cook for people. You could be putting your own holy essence, your own holy magic into serving people at your job. You could be bringing the light of your presence into your work, even if it's in corporate, let's say. And I actually think it's really important right now for spiritual capacities to come through and be out in the overculture and out in the matrix, actually serving love and light into these dark places, into these giant structures that need dismantling. And I feel like that's an underrated thing in spiritual practice or in the spiritual communities of like, it's like, oh, I have this awakening and I have all these soul capacities, gifts and intuitions, and I need to just do healings and I need to just do readings, and that's the only way that I can serve my collective with it. Well, no, like bring that energy and that light into whatever you're doing now, whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're an accountant. Bring spirituality into all of those functions and capacities, because those are all the layers of your being that are integrating as well in anything that you're learning. Anything that you're doing is your soul is learning. And anything that you're healing, you're helping the soul to learn more, and you have a healing capacity that's going out to the masses, and it is going to help many, many people when you just have faith and trust in yourself. Most of us have been so disconnected from any kind of higher power that we feel like very, very lonely, or we feel very lone wolfish, and just connecting to that divinity helps you connect to your capacities to create self-sustenance, which is another healing capacity that we have within. But again, these things work better as you clean out your body. And so if you're eating a lot of junk food, if you're eating a lot of processed food, if you have done that to yourself, or you're going through health challenges right now, it might be harder to feel some of these energetics to come through, but it's not impossible. All you need to do is connect, and you don't need to feel bad for doing these things, just change it now. Start getting daily greens into your diet. Start drinking more activated water. Put chlorophyll in your water. Drink mineralized water, right? There's all kinds of ways you can drink. There's, I think it's hydrogenated water now. It's like a live water. So there's all kinds of ways that you can start to make some shifts, and you don't have to do it all at once. It can feel really overwhelming when you're first awakening. But then also there's some of you that have already been on this path and you've already been doing all this detoxification and cleansing, and I'm seeing that some of you just need to let go of like one or two things here. So like maybe you're still eating really unhealthy once a week or something, or maybe you're still eating something that's really still gumming up your system, and you'll know because you'll feel bloated or you feel bad after eating it, and you might think, well, it's just this one thing, it's not that bad, I've given up everything else that I've wanted to, but that one thing, because your system is so healthy, is actually causing you a lot of issues. And so that's a message for the collective right now. So as you can see in the world with everything that's coming up, there is a massive awakening going on in the collective. So it's reawakening the heart and the womb web, which is what this also represents. It's reconnecting people to their own strong intuition, to be able to tell the truth, to be able to identify if evil is hosting in someone's body. Now, evil can host in someone's body from a lack of connection with divinity, a conscious connection, where we can never be disconnected from our soul, from Creator. We can never make our soul impure. All we have to do is repent and forgive ourselves, and we can bring ourselves back to wholeness and purity. Now, I know those are very religious terms, but when I talk about them, I'm talking about them from pure source love and light. And repentment just means that you actually acknowledge it by connecting through your angels and to a higher being that is love. Remember, higher divinity will never ask you to hurt yourself or another, right? So when we connect to a higher divinity, we can just say, like, I did this thing and I'm so sorry for it. Can you help me? Or I'm continuing to do this thing. I'm continuing to treat my body this way. I'm continuing to treat my body poorly. It's really hard to be on this planet right now. There's a lot of heaviness. So we have a lot of crutches, right? And we can have different things that we do, smoking, drinking, substances that we lean into just to help us get through the heaviness of the world. And the overculture has also added to that by making extra stress and making extra problems, like making extra cycles of repetition of stress and having you on the hamster wheel of paying off debt and being in debt and then having to work and having bosses that you don't get along with or really hard jobs to work. And this is the industrialized commercial socialism that we're living in right now, but you are able to get through it more easily when you connect to nature, when you connect to divinity, when you connect to the higher powers that are trying to awaken through you. And we have all of this collective aid and help right now from all the star seeds and beings who are already on this journey and on this path that are anchoring the 5D consciousness. And now we have a lot more people who might be called muggles or normies. if you resonate Harry Potter, that might be a sign coming through, and they are actually awakening with you. But you might have the collective that has found this. You guys are the path forgers in this. You guys are the leaders, and you lead by the embodiment of your being, of your life. So how you talk about your experience, how you live your experience, the way you choose to feed your body, the way you choose to nourish your body, even if it's out of the quote-unquote norm of the environments that you guys are placed in. That's why we are star seeds placed all over the planet. This is the message for you guys today. You guys are the awakening through what you are living, and it is time to fully clean up your frequency and your body. It's time to clean up those habits. And you'll also have started to notice that a lot of you front-loaded your karma, and that you are actually starting to have less and less negative karma coming through. And you're having more positive karma coming through, but you're also learning to reclaim your power and release siphoning and not allowing others to latch onto you, because that is a survival technique that a lot of humans are living in right now, because that's what they were doing before through all the dark ages. That's how they made it through all of these really dark times we've had in humanity. And even those are lightening up, but we still have some cellular trauma looping from that. If you have a resistance to believing in a higher power, but you resonate as a starseed and you know that you have a higher purpose, you might understand kind of what I'm talking about. And some of that might be cellular trauma looping from being religiously persecuted or tortured in another life. And those might be things that need to be cleared so that you can actually have a nice, calm, purified resonating field. So the more that we clean out ourselves and the more that we remember our past lives, the more inner peace that we come through. So sometimes I have clients who are like overeating or over consuming, overspending, in substance abuse, because they actually haven't went in and healed the trauma looping that is going on within their cells. And those things are playing out in them, causing them to try to fill this energetic hole and inside of them, and they just need a little bit of cleaning up of that frequency, right? The other thing that starseeds go through is that we are the pillars of light. We are pillars of light anchored down in our specific ley lines and frequencies wherever we are on the earth. Okay, and as we're anchored down through our living experience, through our embodied experience, the more that we connect with Creator, the more that we connect with our soul, and the more that we're plugged into our soul star above our head and our earth star below our feet, the more that we have that full pillar of light alignment, we are purifying the ley lines around us, which is connecting to the collective, and it's spreading like wildfire to wake up all of those around us to remember the truth, to come back to their own divinity, to come back to their own power, to come back to their own healing capacities. The more that we do that, the more that we might be the ones who are alchemizing any heavy layers that shift off the collective. So if you think about what I just talked about, it's kind of like an energy exfoliation. So your light connection to Creator comes down through, it goes into the ley lines, and it goes out into the environment around you. Or your pure energy, your light source energy comes through you, and it touches all the people around you, say, that you work with. And you can trigger people from that because it is calling into their own awakening. And then also the authentic way that you are living and being is also calling in like it's calling out the soul in other people, and people who are really asleep and not living from their soul, they might get triggered from that because you are showing them everything that they can be, but they might not be allowing themselves, and it's going to call out to their soul, and their soul is going to start to rise. Now, if they have a very heavily programmed ego, they might start to resist that, and then that can show up as a trigger, and that can show up as a challenge, and that can show up as a rupture. But the collective that I'm talking to, you're going to start to notice that you went through that your whole life, but you're also starting to come out of that right now, because there's a massive amount of awakening going on in the collective, and a lot of soul coming through people, that they're starting to awaken and see their truth, even if you can't see it, like that quiet blossoming, even if it's just happening under the surface right now, and that they don't even know that they're going through it yet. Okay, so let's pull for my last core for Lady Isis. So yeah, see, those destiny codes are coming up again. There's a lot of divine destiny that's happening on this planet. There's a lot of empowerment. Amber might be really important and specific to you right now. The hawk might also be important and specific. I've been guided to pull out the Eye of Horus, which is awakening people and helping you with protection. Horus comes in with protection, with truth. It opens up your clairvoyancy. It aligns you with the universal laws of truth so that you can actually hold the frequency of truth and still respect the free will choices of other people, and then still honor your own truth and honor your true, authentic hell yeses and hell nos in a loving and soft way to give to your environment, so that you can actually live your purpose and live your unique path and live your journey, and still find that you can fit in, still find that you're not creating these paths that are isolating you, that you are a path forger, that you are creating something that the collective needs, and it's going to be quote unquote out of the norm, but you actually have a lot of like-minded community around you, or you're actually able to bring in people because of the warmth and the authentic nature and the love pouring out of your being and pouring out of your heart right now. Okay, so you are a divine warrior. If you found this reading today, you are part of the collective that is doing that path forging, and that is not an easy thing to do. Like I said, you're going to trigger people just by being in your authentic nature. You are going to be anchoring a frequency that the planet needs so deeply that you actually might feel super isolated at this moment, because you are in a very dense area that you're bringing the light to those dark spaces. So keep up your connection with divinity, lean into your angels, lean into divine support, and understand that you are never alone, right? And even on being so far on this journey, you know, there's stuff that I never believed in before that literally life and divinity just showed me was true and possible. Some of you might be going through that right now, and it's really important to just remember you are never alone. And no matter how long I've been on this journey, I do still have human pockets of loneliness, because we are meant to connect with people. We are meant to connect with like-minded beings, and a lot of us that are anchoring the new 5D frequency, it's harder for us because we're having these remembrances of what community and love purity actually looked like without this disruption patterns, without the greed, without the lies, without the self-loathing addictions and the addictions to pain and suffering. And we're not fully seeing that in our physical yet, but these are being anchored. And the more that you live it in your own frequency, the more that you realize the love that is all around you in your day-to-day living, the more that you add to that love and even amplify it and feed it and even lead it with your own frequency and your own way of being, and allowing Creator to pour through you into that moment and into everything that you're doing, the more that it will amplify, and the more you're going to start to see it in your physical, because that's the quiet blossoming that's coming up. And then really connecting with nature. Get outside, get into fresh air, get into getting that moonlight and that starlight on your skin, and really understand that you are protected. You may feel isolated or alone right now, or you might feel like you have a lot of people around you, but they don't actually see you, and you're in that newness of what's being expressed to you. So you might not resonate with what's around you right now as deeply as before, but understand that you're protected. Understand that your ancestors have also been attuned, and they have also been purified and corrected. And I want to say, like, we have had a lineage that got us here, and we need to be very thankful for that, because we are living in times that are easier than ever before, and still yet we have not been able to find happiness and joy because of the amount of addiction to pain and suffering. But our ancestors really went through it. Like, they didn't have roads, some of them couldn't vote, they couldn't have money, they needed other genders' permission to do things. The childbirth, there was no hospitals to help, they lost loved ones. Like, the things that our ancestors went through to get here, like blood, sweat, and tears. right? We do need to be grateful for that and really understand just how wonderful and beautiful that we have it right now, because things are so easily and readily available to us, and things are so wonderfully in tune with us. But there was also just a lot of fighting. There was also a lot of violence that came with that. There was also a lot of like stealing, thievery, manipulation, binding, that also created the negativities in the structure that we're living in right now and in this present moment. But there's this sacred conjunction going on for you right now where the past, the present, and the future is all coming into one moment. And this is your capacities and your skills coming. So you might feel really discombobulated right now, but just understand that these are your destiny points. Take a lot of rest. Really allow these downloads to come and integrate you, because your ancestors, your spirit team, they are giving you a lot of frequency downloads in answer to your prayers, in answer to like, what is blocking me? Why can't I make this happen? Why do I have this vision or this desire in my heart and it's not working for me? Well, these are the downloads that you're receiving, and it's important to right now not be so attached to doing physical work. It's important to give yourself permission to be the expert. It's important to give yourself permission to do it imperfectly and refine it as you go, because the doing of it is the most important piece. And not waiting and not holding yourself back, but yet also in the moment, make sure you're healing and correcting. Make sure you're doing like, you're releasing all of the ways that you think of how it could come, and you're really leaning into divinity and allowing divinity to provide for you and come in, because there is a massive amount of wealth transfer going on in the collective right now. And so I did pull a few more guides and frequencies. Isis has one more message before I go, is like, your words are very, very important. So she's really helping you guide with your words. She's really helping you understand your true nature, how protected you are, to give you back your self-esteem and your confidence. And the past, present, and the future is now conjuncting, because your future higher self and highest self is guiding you to integrate the past and the present into this very moment, so that you can show up in your purpose and serve the world what it needs from you. And whatever capacity and fashion that you're doing, it's going to come through as an energy frequency through your body. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser, an accountant, like there's no wrong way to do it. You don't have to go out and be a spiritual leader and give up everything you've ever known, and give up everyone you've ever known to be spiritual. I don't believe that is modern spirituality. Okay? So, okay, your home might be very important. It might be really time for you to consecrate your home, pray over your home, seal your home through unconditional love, put a lot of sacred geometry around your home, and then anchor that down into the ley lines. That is especially for those who resonate with past lives in Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria. Those are really being called for, so that all the energy that's flying about as people wake up, I call it psychic flus, or just evil eye, envy, as people wake up and they're triggered because they're not allowing themselves to have their own desire, they can throw that energy at you. That can come through you in your home, and while you're sleeping, you can be more susceptible to things coming through you. So honestly, just consecrate your home. Sage it, or I like to use San Paulo. Pray over your home, play religious divine prayers and frequencies in your home. Pray Om, or Tibetan singing bowls are really good. But any kind of prayers, religious prayers, also will help. And play them in another language, which is really beautiful. I really like some of the prayers of Islam coming through my being, my home, my frequency. There's also a lot of subliminals right now that you could be using to help to create home in your energy field, in your subconscious mind, that you could be reprogramming all of that background noise and also just releasing it, right? Remember those lists. I am no longer choosing to believe. I am no longer available for. I am no longer willing to tolerate. And then a new list. I am now choosing to believe, and write out the new beliefs and the new stories for your being. It is never too late to grow. It is never too late to learn something. It is never too late to take a class in hearing. And so some of you need to take that leap of faith and that risk that we talked about earlier of just showing up imperfectly, just doing the action, and showing up and trusting that creator spirit is leading the right people to you at the exact right time, and that is going to happen for you, and you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to guide it, and you showing up in your authentic expression and embodied embodying presence and spiritual light and spiritual capacity, that is going to help even one person a day. And really trusting that that is helping somebody out there. Even the people that are jumping on this live and coming off, like this, it's still a transmission that my soul is giving from them to them, and it's going to help spark their awakening. It's no accident. Even if an ego or a shadow aspect is ruling a person so deeply, some of you might be seeing this in your family, in your outer environment, at your work. You can see that shadow aspect ruling them so deeply that they cannot hear their soul, that the overculture programming is so intense that they cannot hear their soul. They're still connected to it, and their soul is still bringing them here, and that's why I'm showing up and doing this reading, because it is still helping. Okay, beauty is a huge thing right now. Aphrodite's been really working with a collective to really bring out your inner beauty. Like how do you define beauty? Bring it to the outside of you. Bring your smile, just forcing yourself to smile, even if you don't feel like it. It brings endorphins, it brings happiness, and it helps other people smile. So bringing laughter and joy and smiling, and then purging the violence, of course, because if we joke and we have humor, I know there's a thing, dark humor and stuff, but that is a reflection of that pain and suffering, wound and addiction that majority of the collective has. So really surrendering that and bringing love and laughter and joy through pure ways again, through purity. And then just loving yourself, loving your body, loving your hair, feeding yourself alive foods and alive things that make your skin glow and that rejuvenate your cells, not deteriorate them. Really avoiding those chemicals. Like I said, she's really helping to guide you. Doves might be significant to you, so might daisies. Bringing flowers into your home will be really nice. Some of you might already have a lot of plants and connections to the fairies, and that's just going to help increase. Okay, some of you might be really called to explore different mythologies or different time periods, and that's your past lives arising, and they're trying to come back and remember within you. And you might even bring through some of these historical practices and these ancestral practices to deal with your hair and to deal with your skin, and to really just connect to yourself and to your higher being, and to bring that inner beauty outside yourself. Beautiful blessings are on their way to you. The more that you go within, and the more that you connect to the divinity within yourself, the more that you are, the more that you're just going to see your life improve. The more you're going to see your life, if it needs healing right now, blessings are coming in, resources are coming in, the more that you delegate, and delegate to your spirit team. So I know if you've watched The Secret, it was like, you can ask for parking spaces, you can literally ask for anything. Like I asked my spirit team, like, oh, help me find a solution to say my printer not working, or like help me find a solution to edit my videos faster. Like those kinds of things, like bring divinity into everything that you can. Call in your angels. Green Tara is a beautiful, beautiful energy that really helps you connect to your inner self of love and really help to see through the truth of illusions. And she really helps to bring through that pain and suffering wound and transmute and alchemize it into serving pure unconditional love and light. And so that you actually release your addictions to violence, you actually release your addictions to pain and suffering, right? And then Sekhmet comes through, so that's a strong connections to cats that we started at this reading again, at the start of this reading. Laid cat energy come through. That's about honoring the connection to your tribe, honoring the connection to your community, you're seeing your independence, but then also knowing your own inner strength and knowing your own inner beauty in such an unshakable way. Like if I told my cat she was ugly right now, she would just be like, you're right. Like I know I'm beautiful, it doesn't bother me, right? Like if you're addressing the core beliefs within that are hidden within your subconscious that are causing you to have those addictions we talked about, or that are causing you to not see your own beauty, to not see your own capacity, to cut yourself down, to joke in deprivatating manners about yourself. Like those core beliefs, if you can bring them up to the light of divinity and shift them, you're going to see a whole shift in your divinity and everything about yourself. You're going to see it in your confidence, and you're going to show up in a different way. If you have core beliefs that tell yourself you can't do it, you're not good enough, you're comparing yourself constantly to other people, you are going to show up in a way that is disempowering. You just are. And so the more that you can shift those core beliefs, which is what Sekhmet is starting and is helping you do, the more you can shift those core beliefs to anything that is blocking you from seeing your true beauty, your true magnificence, your true offering, your true power, those are all being stripped from you right now. Okay? It's important to spend quiet time. It's important to rest, to meditate, to contemplate. It is important to really have some time with divinity each day. Okay, no matter what you're doing, it doesn't have to be long, 1 minute, 5 minutes, and do it throughout the day. I just made it that, like, I believe that I'm connected to divinity all the time. Divinity is working through me, and that everything I'm doing is soaked, guided, or connected to divinity. And that is a beautiful practice to have as well, but that starts with carving out the quiet time to actually connect in quiet spaces, so you can feel in your body, in your frequency, what does the energy signature of divinity feel like, and you can allow that to guide you through and to keep you connected, especially in times when things are tough and harder to connect. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the reading here today, and I love you. I hope this helped. I know that Spirit's bringing the right people here at the right time, and I trust that you will find this at the exact right time. I know I talked about the fire horse energy and the wood snake energy, but those are frequencies. So even though we have applied them to a year when they're going to be stronger because their energies are going to be coming through the lunar calendar, their frequencies and time runs in a spiral, and you can connect to those time frames anytime. That is how our higher self from the future is able to guide us as well. And if that resonates with you, just say, my highest self from the future is guiding me right now. It's already showing me how to achieve these goals. It's already showing me how to manifest what I need. It's already showing me how to guide me to my heart's desires, because that's part of that mapping that lives inside of you. If you want a personal private reading with me, you can go ahead and email me. We'll get you set up within 48 hours, me or my team. We are booking into the next 2 weeks, of course, right now, but we can do Akashic Records keeping with you. We can do a soul attunement frequency. I do very powerful energy recoding where we just fix up all the layers of your being, your etheric layer of the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body, and we release any coding or shedding that you've already done to make your auric clear and purified, and that you're not carrying any heavy energies that are not yours or burdensome. We detach you from any energy siphoning, and we also just help you. Well, I'm working with Creator and your spirit team and my spirit team. And we also just help you really get into a frequency of lightness, so you can feel what your next steps are. You can feel your intuition. You can go forward in a more empowered way, clarified and purified. And it's just a really beautiful practice. I'm also very passionate about teaching people that you can do this stuff on your own, that you're not going to be reliant on me forever, and that you can come through and work with divinity on your own, and you don't actually even need anyone to guide you. But it is also very good for us starseeds to connect and help each other, because we're all serving a different ray and a different purpose, and the merging of those gifts and the merging of divinity. Like, if, say, I have more of my clairvoyant capacities in you right now because I've been practicing them for longer, then my sight will help to open your sight, right? And it just becomes this beautiful sharing. And these, I call them crystalline photocopies, where you can actually photocopy different codes and frequencies of, say, an experience that you want or a behavior that you want, and you can actually lay it onto your field, so you don't even need to siphon other people. We can share just through energy layers that way. I pray for you that you are blessed and that you are feeling loved, that all of your challenges resolve, and that you're connected back to divinity, and that you have your own experience of divinity that brings in the most highest blessings of love, wealth, prosperity, beauty, and joy into your experience now. I love you. Namaste. Be well.